Hey everyone, it's Arav, and today we're talking about something that might sound incredibly simple, but it's actually one of the most common and most heartbreaking reasons startups fail. They build an amazing, technically brilliant product that no one really wants. Yep, all that tireless coding, the late night sketching designs, the huge investments of time, energy, and money, and in the end, nobody uses it. The app sits in the store, ignored. The gadget gathers dust. Why? Because they skipped the first, most fundamental, and most important step, deeply understanding user needs. They built in a vacuum based on assumptions rather than insights. Today, we're going to break down why this happens and, more importantly, how you can avoid this common, costly mistake. Before you even sketch out a single product feature, before you write even a single line of code, you absolutely need to understand what real people, potential customers, truly need, what problems they face, and what truly frustrates them. If you skip this critical step of user research, three catastrophic things are almost guaranteed to go wrong. Number one, you solve a problem no one really cares about. You might invent a complex solution to a problem that's merely an itch for people, not a gushing wound. No one will pay for an itch. Number two, you solve the right problem but in the wrong way. You might identify a real pain point, but your proposed solution doesn't actually fit into the user's life, or it's too complicated, or it misses a critical detail. Number three, you waste immense time and money building something that needs tons of fixes, or worse, needs to be scrapped entirely. Every hour spent building an unvalidated feature is an hour wasted. It's incredibly expensive to course correct after development, compared to doing proper research before. But when you commit to proper, insightful user research upfront, everything changes. You gain clarity, you can move faster because you're building with purpose, you make better, data-driven decisions, and crucially, you build something people actually love. Something that solves a problem they genuinely want solved. But many people will ask me the question, what about companies like Facebook, Google, or even Apple? Now that's a fair question. They didn't do months of formal user interviews before launching, did they? And you'd be partially right. These titans often build products based on strong internal hunches, brilliant hypotheses, and then iterated incredibly fast after launch, using early user feedback to refine and scale. And yes, that worked. For them, for the tiny handful of visionary founders who, through a combination of genius, incredible timing, massive resources, or the ability to attract them, and perhaps a bit of sheer luck, managed to hit on a universal need that they intuitively understood. But here's the harsh truth. For every single success story like Facebook or Google, there are literally thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of startups that have failed miserably precisely because they skipped the fundamental user research. They built in a bubble, and the brilliant ideas never found a market. So unless you're willing to bet your entire entrepreneurial journey on being a once in a billion genius with perfect market intuition, maybe, just maybe, don't skip this foundational step. For the rest of us, relying on proven research methods is a smarter, less risky path. Fortunately, understanding user needs isn't just about random guessing. There is a proven systematic method for this, a clear framework that will guide you. Here's how it works. Step 1. Gather raw data. Your first mission is to collect as much unfiltered information as possible about what users do, what they think, what they say, and what they feel in relation to the problem you're interested in. Don't interrupt yet, just collect. Step 2. Interpret the data. Once you have a good chunk of raw data, start looking for partners, themes, and recurring behaviors. What specific needs? Once you have a good chunk of raw data, start looking for patterns, themes, and recurring behaviors. What specific needs, frustrations, or desires show up again and again across different individuals? What are the underlying motivations? Step 3. Organize the needs. Now group these identified needs into logical categories. These could be broad themes like physical needs, example, needs a lighted device, emotional needs to feel secure, technical needs faster processing, or functional needs to automate task X. This helps make sense of complexity. Step 4. Prioritize. Not all the needs are treated equal. Which needs are the most common? Which ones do people express with the most frustration, urgency, or even excitement? Identifying the gushing wound versus the itches is crucial. This step tells you where to focus your development efforts for maximum impact. By following these 4 steps, you're not building based on a flimsy hunch or a hopeful guess. You're building based on concrete facts, validated insights, and a deep understanding of your potential users' actual life. Okay, so we need to collect data. But what are the best tools for the job, especially when you're just starting out? Surveys. These are great for getting quantitative data, numbers, percentages, scales. For example, would you pay $10 or $15? Or on a scale of 1 to 5, how frustrated are you by X? But here's the catch. Surveys are not ideal early on. If you don't even know what your users' core problems are yet, how can you formulate the right questions? You might ask about a feature nobody cares about. They're best for validating specific hypotheses after you've done some initial qualitative research. Focus groups. This involves gathering 8 to 10 people in a room and leading a discussion. Sounds cool, right? You get a lot of opinions at once, but in reality, they're often expensive, hard to organize, and critically, one loud dominant voice can easily sway the opinions of the entire group, leading to biased insights. People also tend to say what they think the moderator wants to hear, not what they truly feel or do. User interviews. Now this is where the magic happens, especially in the early stages. One-on-one conversations with potential users give you incredibly deep, nuanced insights into what people really care about, their motivations, their frustrations, and their existing behaviors. They're much cheaper and faster to set up than focus groups and infinitely more useful than early surveys because you can adapt your questions in real time based on what the user says. This is your most powerful tool for uncovering hidden needs. So you're doing user interviews, but who exactly should you be talking to? It's not just about finding your ideal user right away. You need a diverse mix of perspectives. Users. These are the people who will actually use your product day to day. They'll interact with your features, experience or design, and feel the direct impact. Buyers. If your product is for kids, parents are often the buyers. If it's for employees, managers or department heads might be the buyers. These are the people who actually open their wallets. Their motivations, cost, ROI, perceived value are different from pure users. Experts or advisors. These could be industry experts, consultants, or even seasoned professionals who influence the buying decision or have deep knowledge of the problems faced. They offer a broader perspective. Start broad with the definition of who might have the problem. Don't fall into the trap of assuming your perfect user is a 23-year-old from Stanford who works in finance just because you saw that in a movie. You might be completely wrong, and your biggest market could be somewhere you never expected. Start wide, talk to diverse individuals, and let your discovery process show you who truly needs your solution. And how many interviews are enough? You don't need to interview hundreds. Around 10 interviews is often the sweet spot for qualitative research. It's enough to start spotting consistent patterns and themes without wasting endless amounts of time. After about 10 to 15 interviews, new insights tend to diminish significantly. Here's where a lot of people mess up in their interviews. Your goal is not to sell your idea or even to ask if people like your idea. Your goal is to learn. You are a detective, not a salesperson. Avoid leading questions. Don't ask questions like, would you use this amazing new app that solves all your problems? Or do you think this feature would be helpful? These are leading and people will often just say yes to be polite, giving you false positives. Instead, focus on past behavior. Ask questions like, how do you currently solve this problem? Or tell me about the last time you experienced this specific problem. Why? Because people are terrible at predicting their own future actions. Oh yes, I'd totally go to the gym every day if I had this app. But they're excellent at recalling what they did last week, what tools they used, and what frustrated them. That past behavior is gold. Ask for real concrete examples. If someone says, I try to eat healthy, don't just nod. Dig deeper. That's great. What did you eat for dinner last night? Or what was the biggest challenge you faced in your healthy eating efforts this past week? Real world examples reveal actual struggles and habits, not just aspirations. Be curious, empathetic, and listen more than you talk. Let the user guide the conversation, and be prepared to go off script if they bring up something unexpected and interesting. During these interviews, you're primarily looking for two big things. Number one, user behavior patterns. As you talk to multiple people, you'll start to notice recurring themes in how different types of users behave, what their daily routines look like, and how they think about the world. This helps you build personas, semi-fictional representations of your target users, outlining who they are, what their goals are, and how they think. These personas guide your product development. Number two, customer journey and pain points. You want to map out the step-by-step process of how your potential users currently deal with the problem you're trying to solve. What are the specific steps they take? What are the biggest annoyances, frustrations, or inefficiencies at each stage? What emotions are involved? Is it anger, resignation, excitement? Let's quickly look at a hypothetical example. Say you're building a nutrition app, and after a few interviews, you talk to someone named Stephanie. She might tell you, I think about food and what to eat almost every day. It's exhausting. Shows the significance of the problem in her life. I got really serious about nutrition after getting sick during a trip to Africa, which made me realize how important gut health is. Reveals motivation and a trigger event. I've tried strict food journals in the past, but they felt like too much work. Now I try to do intuitive eating. Highlights past failures with solutions and current behavior patterns. My biggest struggle, honestly, isn't food choices. It's just staying consistently hydrated throughout the day, uncovers a specific unmet need that might be a gushing wound for her, even if it wasn't her initial focus. That kind of rich, detailed, and emotionally charged information is incredibly useful. It shows what truly matters to real people and precisely where your product can intervene to create genuine value. You're not done once the interviews are over. Now comes the crucial synthesis phase. Number 1, list all the needs. Transcribe or list every single explicit and implicit need people mentioned. Number 2, group them into categories. Start clustering similar needs together. Number 3, prioritize based on frequency and emotion. Which needs came up most often? More importantly, which needs did people talk about with the most frustration, longing, or excitement? If everyone says a feature is kind of nice, but one person lights up, gets agitated, or even tears up when they talk about a certain pain point, that's a gold mine. That's a true gushing wound. So there you go. Understanding user needs isn't just a nice to have or a boring academic exercise. It's the absolute non-negotiable foundation for building something real, something valuable, and something that people will actually desire and pay for. Start with empathetic user interviews, stay genuinely curious about people's life, forget your assumptions, and be prepared to be surprised. And always remember, the product isn't the starting point. People are. Their needs, their pains, their aspirations. That's where every successful venture truly begins. If you like this video, if it sparked some new ideas for you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more startup wisdom, and share it with a friend who's ready to build something great. More essential startup strategy is coming your way. Thank you.